Imagine reaching your golden years, only to be weighed down by regret, pain, and suffering, simply because of the choices you made earlier in life. Every decision you make today shapes your tomorrow, and while youth can hide the consequences, old age reveals them with brutal clarity. Today, we're talking about the 7 crucial things you're doing now that will only bring you more suffering as you grow older. Trust me, this is a wake-up call. But before we dive into these life-changing lessons, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on important content that can truly change your life. Now, let's get started. 1. Ignoring your health. When you're young, it feels like your body can handle anything. You stay up all night, eat whatever you want, skip workouts, yet you wake up the next day and keep going. It's easy to think that your body will always bounce back. But here's the truth. Your body is keeping score. Every time you skip that workout, every unhealthy meal you consume, and every hour of sleep you sacrifice, it's slowly building up. You might not feel the effects today, but trust me, your future self will. As time passes, those choices come back to haunt you in ways you never imagined. Chronic illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure don't appear out of nowhere. They're the result of years of poor habits. Joint pain and loss of mobility, things you never even thought about when you were young, can suddenly dominate your life, making even simple movements like walking or climbing stairs feel like a painful chore. Think about this. The health choices you make now are like an investment. Are you investing in a future where you feel strong, independent, and capable in your old age? Or are you setting yourself up for a future filled with doctor's visits, medication, and limitations on the things you love to do? It may not seem urgent today, but when you reach your later years, you'll regret every missed opportunity to take better care of yourself. Your body is your greatest asset. Treat it with respect. The way you care for it now will determine whether your old age is filled with vitality and freedom or burdened by pain and suffering. Don't let your youthful ignorance become your greatest regret. 2. Neglecting relationships. The connections we make throughout life are not just casual. They're the emotional anchors that hold us steady as we age. When you're younger, it's easy to take friendships, family, and relationships for granted. You might prioritize work, personal goals, or even just the day-to-day busyness of life, thinking that your loved ones will always be there. But the truth is, neglecting those relationships comes with a heavy price, one that you won't fully realize until it's too late. As you grow older, you'll find that the people around you, your friends, family, and loved ones, are your greatest source of comfort. They're the ones who'll stand by you in difficult times, celebrate your joys, and share your burdens. But what happens when you've spent years pushing them aside? What happens when you wake up one day and realize that those connections have faded, leaving you isolated and alone? The regret of growing old without meaningful relationships is profound. Loneliness can creep in like a shadow, darkening even the happiest of moments. You might look back and wonder why you didn't call that friend more often, or why you didn't make time for your family when you had the chance. Suddenly, the career you were so focused on, the money you were chasing, it all feels empty when you have no one to share it with. Human beings are wired for connection. In old age, it's not the things you've accumulated or the titles you've earned that bring fulfillment. It's the people in your life. Those relationships you nurture today are the emotional safety net that will carry you through the toughest times in the future. So, ask yourself, are you investing in the people who truly matter? Are you making time to build deep, meaningful connections that will last? Don't let your relationships wither away because of neglect. In the end, the most painful kind of loneliness isn't being physically alone. It's knowing that you could have been surrounded by love, but you chose to turn away. 3. Financial mismanagement. In your youth, money can feel like it's always flowing, whether it's from your paycheck, side hustles, or other income streams. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that it will always be that way, that you can afford to spend recklessly or live beyond your means without worrying about the future. But here's the harsh reality. Time changes everything, especially when it comes to your finances. What you do with your money now will determine whether your future is secure and comfortable or filled with stress and struggle. As you grow older, your earning potential typically decreases. You may no longer have the same energy, opportunities, or capacity to generate income as you did in your younger years. Suddenly, that paycheck you once took for granted isn't there, and you're left facing the consequences of years of financial mismanagement. Not saving enough, racking up debt, or ignoring long-term financial planning can leave you in a vulnerable position when you should be enjoying the fruits of your hard work. Imagine reaching retirement age and realizing that you don't have enough savings to live comfortably. Instead of relaxing and enjoying the freedom you've earned, you find yourself worrying about bills, medical expenses, and how to make your money stretch. The stress of financial insecurity in old age can be overwhelming, casting a dark cloud over what should be the most peaceful and rewarding phase of your life. Money doesn't just buy material things. It buys freedom, peace of mind, and choices. Without proper financial planning, your old age can feel like a prison where every decision is controlled by the limits of what you can afford. You might have to give up activities you love, or worse, rely on others for financial support, which can damage your sense of independence and dignity. The key is to start making smart financial decisions now. Prioritize saving, invest in your future, and avoid the temptation to spend on things that won't matter in the long run. It's not just about how much money you make today. It's about how well you manage it for tomorrow. Because in your old age, the last thing you want is to be burdened by the financial mistakes of your past. Instead, imagine a future where you can live comfortably, free from financial stress, and truly enjoy the life you've built. That future starts with the choices you make right now. 4. Holding grudges. Holding onto grudges is like carrying an invisible weight that drags behind you, slowly pulling you down as you go through life. In the moment when someone hurts or betrays you, holding on to that bitterness can feel justified. You think, why should I forgive them? They don't deserve it. But what you may not realize is that the person most affected by your resentment isn't them, it's you. Every grudge you hold becomes a heavy chain that binds you to the past, keeping you from fully enjoying the present or looking forward to the future. As time passes, the weight of these grudges only grows heavier. You might not feel it in your younger years when you're distracted by other things, but as you age, those unresolved emotions start to take up more space in your mind and heart. Bitterness hardens into a habit, and that emotional burden intensifies, making it harder for you to experience joy, peace, or contentment. When you reach old age, the consequences of holding on to grudges become painfully clear. Every minute you spend clinging to resentment is a minute lost, time that could have been spent building a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Instead of enjoying the present or strengthening your relationships, you're stuck replaying old hurts over and over in your mind. The regret of wasted time begins to creep in, and you realize that the only person who truly suffered from the grudge was you. Imagine looking back on your life and seeing how many opportunities you missed to heal, to forgive, and to move on. You'll see friendships that could have been repaired, family bonds that could have been stronger, and happiness that could have been stronger, and happiness that could have been yours if only you had chosen to let go. The regret of holding grudges becomes a heavy emotional toll in old age, one that robs you of peace at a time when you should be enjoying the freedom and wisdom of your later years. Forgiveness doesn't mean you're excusing the wrongs done to you. It means you're freeing yourself from the prison of anger and bitterness. By letting go of grudges, you create space in your heart for healing, for joy, and for a more peaceful life. Don't wait until it's too late to realize that the time spent holding on to resentment is time you'll never get back. Choose forgiveness now, not for the sake of others, but for the sake of your own future happiness. 5. Refusing to adapt to change. Change is inevitable. It's the one constant in life. Yet so many people resist it, holding tightly to what feels familiar and comfortable. But here's the truth. Refusing to adapt doesn't stop the world from moving forward. It just leaves you behind. When you cling to outdated beliefs, habits, or refuse to embrace new ideas and technologies, you set yourself up for a future filled with frustration, isolation, and bitterness. In your younger years, you might be able to get away with resisting change. You can brush off new trends or shrug at the latest innovations, thinking they don't affect you. But as time goes on, the gap between you and the evolving world widens. New technologies emerge, social dynamics shift, and the ways we communicate and connect are constantly being reshaped. When you refuse to grow with these changes, you risk becoming out of touch, not just with society, but with the people in your life. Friends and family may move forward, embracing these new realities, while you're left feeling increasingly disconnected. As you grow older, this stubborn refusal to adapt can lead to feelings of helplessness. You may find yourself frustrated by the simplest things, like using technology that everyone else seems to handle with ease. It's not just about learning how to operate a smartphone or navigate social media. It's about staying mentally agile, being open to new experiences, and keeping up with the world around you. When you reject change, you inadvertently build walls that separate you from the richness of life. The irony is, the more you resist change, the more change feels like a threat. But when you embrace it, when you allow yourself to grow, learn, and evolve, you maintain a sense of relevance and control. Adaptability isn't just about survival. It's about thriving. It's about staying curious, engaged, and connected to the world around you, no matter your age. In old age, the people who thrive are the ones who remain flexible, who continue to learn, and who are willing to step outside their comfort zones. Imagine reaching your later years and still feeling connected to the world, capable of navigating new challenges and technologies with confidence, rather than feeling lost and dependent on others to guide you through even the simplest tasks. Don't let stubbornness rob you of that experience. The future belongs to those who adapt, and by embracing change, you open yourself up to a life of growth, relevance, and fulfillment. Choose to evolve, and you'll find that change isn't something to fear. It's something that can keep you young at heart no matter how old you become. 6. Overworking and ignoring your passions. For many people, the pursuit of success, whether it's climbing the corporate ladder, accumulating wealth, or chasing status, can consume entire decades of their lives. You tell yourself that the long hours and sacrifices are worth it, that once you've reached a certain point, you'll finally have the time to enjoy life. But what happens when that day never comes? What happens when you look back and realize that you've spent your best years grinding away, ignoring the things that truly mattered to you? Overworking might bring financial rewards, but if it comes at the cost of your passions, relationships, and personal fulfillment, those rewards will feel hollow in the end. The truth is, when you finally stop working, whether through retirement or simply slowing down due to age, you may be left with a terrifying realization. You don't know who you are outside of your work. Your identity, your purpose, everything you invested in was tied to a job or a title, and now that it's gone, you're left feeling lost and empty. The saddest part is, by the time you reach old age, it's often too late to rediscover those passions you once had. You might ask yourself, where did the time go? What did I really live for? It's a painful regret, knowing that you never made time for the things that brought you joy, the hobbies and interests that once set your soul on fire. Maybe you loved painting, writing, traveling, or spending time in nature. But those things were always pushed aside in favor of work, leaving you unfulfilled when you should be enjoying the fruits of a well-balanced life. Passions aren't just hobbies. They're the things that give life meaning beyond the daily grind. They're what make you feel alive and connected to something deeper. When you ignore your passions, you're essentially ignoring a part of yourself, and that void only grows larger with time. Work will always be there. And yes, it's important to provide for yourself and your family, but don't make the mistake of thinking that success in your career is the same as success in life. In old age, the people who feel truly content are those who balance their professional lives with their personal passions. They don't look back with regret because they made time for the things that brought them happiness. Even when they were busy, they pursued fulfillment, not just a paycheck. Ask yourself now, are you living for what truly matters to you, or are you postponing your happiness for some distant future that may never come? The worst regret is realizing too late that you never allowed yourself to pursue the things that made you feel alive. Don't let that happen to you. Start now. Make time for your passions and build a life that's rich not just in wealth, but in meaning. In the end, it's those moments of joy and fulfillment that will bring you the most peace in your later years. 7. Living with fear and regret. Fear is a silent thief. It sneaks into your life, often without you even realizing it, and slowly starts to take away the things that make life worth living. Maybe it's fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of stepping outside of your comfort zone. Whatever the case, fear can paralyze you, holding you back from taking the risks that could change your life for the better. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, or it's safer to stay where I am. But as the years go by, those tomorrows turn into yesterdays, and soon you're left wondering where all the time went. The real tragedy of living with fear is that by the time you reach old age, it's not the things you did that will haunt you, it's the things you didn't. The risks you were too afraid to take, the dreams you never pursued, the opportunities you let slip away because fear whispered, you're not good enough, or it's too risky. You'll look back, not on the mistakes you made, but on the chances you never allowed yourself to take. And that regret is far heavier than any failure could ever be. Think about all the words you've left unsaid, apologies not made, love not expressed, gratitude not shown. Fear of vulnerability keeps you from saying what's in your heart, and with each passing year, those unsaid words become another weight on your shoulders. In old age, when time feels more finite, you'll wish you had been brave enough to speak your truth, to share your feelings openly, and to connect with others on a deeper level. But by then, it may be too late to right those wrongs, to heal those relationships, or to express what you've been holding inside. Then, there are the experiences you never allowed yourself to have. Maybe it was fear of failure that stopped you from pursuing a dream career, fear of judgment that kept you from traveling the world or trying something new, or fear of the unknown that made you stick with the familiar, even when it didn't make you happy. Each of these moments where fear held you back will linger as regrets when you're older. And the worst part, you'll realize that most of those fears were imagined, not real. The limitations you thought existed were self-imposed. Fear creates a prison you build for yourself, brick by brick. The longer you let fear control your decisions, the higher those walls grow. And by the time you realize you want to break free, it can feel too late. Old age isn't the time for regrets. It's the time to reflect on a life well lived. But if you've let fear rule your choices, that reflection will be clouded by what-ifs and if-onlys. The key is to live bravely now. Take the risks, speak the words, pursue the experiences that make you feel alive. Yes, you may fail. Yes, you may face judgment. But what's worse, facing those temporary discomforts or spending your old age looking back on a life filled with missed opportunities. When you reach your later years, wouldn't you rather have stories of bold choices and authentic living rather than a lifetime of regrets? Don't wait until it's too late to realize that fear was never worth the cost. Step outside your comfort zone, take risks, and live authentically. Because in the end, it's not the failures you'll regret. It's the chances you never took. And those are the regrets that stay with you forever. In conclusion, every choice you make today has a profound impact on the quality of your future life, especially in your old age. It's easy to overlook how your daily actions, how you treat your body, your finances, your relationships, and even your mindset shape the person you'll become. But the truth is, your future self will either thrive or suffer based on the habits and decisions you choose to embrace now. Imagine reaching your later years in a body that feels strong and capable, surrounded by loved ones who care for you, with the financial freedom to enjoy life without stress. This doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of conscious choices made over time, choices that start today. Don't wait until it's too late to realize the importance of protecting your health. Don't wake up one day wishing you had invested more time in nurturing your relationships or wishing you had taken more risks in life. The regrets that people feel in old age aren't about the things they tried and failed, but about the opportunities they missed and the passions they ignored. Don't let that be your story. Start changing your habits now. Prioritize your health, move your body, eat mindfully, and take care of your mental and emotional well-being. Invest time in meaningful connections, in the relationships that matter, because those bonds will be your emotional support as you grow older. Live with purpose, pursuing what truly brings you joy, so that when you look back, you'll know you lived authentically without fear or regret. And remember, the time to act is now. These lessons, if applied today, can dramatically change the course of your life for the better. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content that can transform your life step by step. Your future self will thank you for every smart choice you make today. Start now and give yourself the gift of a fulfilling, meaningful, and regret-free life.